Greetings, fair and mighty people across grand and mighty spectrums of time, indeed the multiverse. It is seeming like now maybe I might have a chance of making it through this difficult period to get, the whole moving house thing and like how the fuck I survive and where the fuck I live. It's still a bit up in the air, but I'm now starting to believe that maybe it is not an outlandish possibility that I might actually, make this and end up sort of fine-ish at the end of it in some new abode. So, survival is now seemingly a credible option, which is nice. There have, however, been other developments. I am losing the writing thing. It's not really writer's block. I don't believe in writer's block, right? The creativity hasn't gone away. The ideas are still there. The ideas are still generating. It's just that, I suppose, I've mentioned this before, that I kind of go through cycles and things, that I sort of spend so long thinking and examining and doing something with some area, and then it's like, chewing gum. Like, you spend sometimes sort of, desperately masticating away on something, and then the flavor's gone, you spit it out and chuck it away. Right? And it's like, I'm still writing, I'm still getting ideas, but I'm ceasing to be able to get them down on paper fast enough, and I'm ceasing to, I'm posing more of a critical eye over the things I write, so therefore they're not getting published, they're not getting finished, they're not getting continued. It's just not happening. It's just, for a few months, arguably years, it's just been steadily getting harder and harder and harder to actually complete anything. Like, maybe I can do a distraction pick, but that's about it. I've got tons of unfinished drafts, but that's kind of the point. Any old person can make an unfinished draft of a thing, saying, I got an idea. Right. But actually getting it out there is, okay, yes, there are some people who like to say the definition of a writer is someone who is published, right? But certainly I think no one will disagree with me when I say, like, to be a writer, you actually have to fucking finish the damn thing, right? You're not a writer if you have a whole load of unfinished stories, right, that you're just not doing anything with, right? Like, you've got to fucking finish, and I'm just not. And I'm feeling kind of at a loss and melancholic because of this, right? Writing is my purpose. It has been for some time. And I do strongly believe that a man needs a purpose. And frankly, if I am not to have a purpose, and I am to instead pursue the hedonistic imperative, then that presents with it its own set of problems. Because if I am to pursue the hedonistic imperative, what the fuck am I doing in a place like this? Like, I can't pursue the hedonistic imperative and be a poor broke fucker, and yet I am destined to be a poor broke fucker for quite some time unless my chances drastically improve. So I can't chase the hedonistic imperative, and I'm probably not going to be able to even delude myself that I am a writer. So I need a new purpose, and arguably this is an even greater delusion from thinking that I can be um, a writer of bad fetish fiction to now thinking that I shall be some sort of popular educator on the internet. It's not an idea that is unegotistical, shall we put it like that, right? But to a certain extent, I'm thinking it's a natural consequence of what I've been doing for the last, a couple of years, which is that I have been chasing all of this info about politics, and now I'm still kind of, I've got a book by Slavoj Žižek to read, and I'm currently reading through Owen Jones's book at the same time as I'm reading through this book Neurotribes by Steve Silberman, which, if you are an autistic person and you read Neurotribes, it is so offensive. Neurotribes, if you are an autistic person, it is just ridiculously offensive. I mean, I'm like 4 chapters in now, and every chapter is just, and here's neurotypical people fucking over autistic people again and again and again, fucking over autistic people again and again and again, and it's just, you know, it makes me think of, how these people are like, oh, Game of Thrones, it's all just rape, it's all just rape, oh my god, look what they did to Sansa. And it's like, reading Neurotribes is like if George R. R. Martin had literally had every single chapter of Game of Thrones, literally one character after another getting horrifically raped. Right? It's that kind of experience of just like, for fuck's sake, we get it! People are assholes! But nevertheless, I am continuing with this because, frankly, I'm learning a lot, right? This is the first time I've ever sort of read, like, the Paul Mason's post-capitalism, Owen Jones's The Establishment, and Martin Ford's, The Rise of the Robots. These were books that basically didn't teach me anything new. Really, they taught me a little bit about, sort of the rise of neoliberalism and Margaret Thatcher, but that was about it, right? Like, every chapter of this book, Neurotribes, is genuinely teaching me a whole lot I did not know. It is doing so whilst explaining in great detail why neurotypical people are bigoted, arrogant, prejudiced arseholes. I mean, just like one founder or one of the people who, discovered autism, he was in Austria when Hitler came back to Austria during the Second World War, and he was part of the bureaucratic machinery overseeing the slaughter of disabled children, including autistic children. And the other, discoverer of autism was was a Jew who was in America and escaped that horrible sequence of events in Europe, and instead he ignored all of the prejudice going on. Instead, he ignored all the prejudice and horrible treatment of people from different ethnic minorities and backgrounds in America, and then himself used autism and stuff to help spread his own eugenics type arguments. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is neurotypical people are fucking awful. They are absolutely fucking awful people. And they have consistently treated autistic people like fucking bullshit. Right? In fact, arguably treated them worse than fucking bullshit. Yeah. George R.R. Martin has not, such that I have seen, done anything in his fiction anywhere like as bad as neurotypical people have done to autistic people. And just the last 4 chapters alone, just the first 4 chapters alone of Neurotribes contain enough horrible shit to make the entirety of Game of Thrones look goddamn tame. Incidentally, each chapter is about 50 pages or whatever long, so those 4 chapters almost could be about the length of a standard book. It's yeah, it's a tough read, but I'm educating myself, right? And I suppose it's only natural, you educate yourself about something, you think on it, and then you come up with your own conclusions, what have you. And as far as courses, routes into getting a job go, well, Reed have been sending me desperate email after desperate email saying, "Can you be a teacher? The teacher's position's open, please be a teacher." And it's like, I don't have any qualifications. But I am now thinking that actually, you know what? Maybe sort of teaching in some way, shape or form is not actually such a bad route for me. I mean, obviously I prefer to kind of not go anywhere near schools, because I was a kid in school, and frankly, children in school are evil, despicable things. So yeah, I would not want to teach children, but I mean, okay, this is ridiculous because I realise it would require an incredible amount of training. And by the time I do that training, the situation I am outlining may have changed radically. But at least in terms of what Martin Ford outlines in The Rise of the Robots, is that education may well be one of those areas that's relatively safe from automation in the near future. Or certainly, like, I have a YouTube channel. I have a way that I can express and my views and and they can be out there, and if nothing else, I might be able to educate the people through my writing and through my videos, even if I can't necessarily make money out of it. Because to a certain extent, right, it's about how the fuck do I survive, right? Like, I need a purpose in order to live, because I can't just, you know, sit in my little battery farm box, you know, just sitting before my computer waiting to die one way or the other, right? Like, I can't do that. I need a thing, a reason to be, a purpose to chase after, right? Like, even if we got universal basic income, you know, tomorrow, if say Jeremy Corbyn gets elected and like he decides, hey, we're gonna have universal basic income, everybody's gonna be okay, right? I'd still need something to keep me going. I'd still need a thing to do, right? Like, once you've mastered the basics of not dying under capitalism, I still need a way to, a reason to be, right? I still need a reason to be. And currently I'm missing that, right? That's a big thing, is I'm missing the why factor, you know. Like, to a certain extent, it doesn't matter when you're fighting fires, because, you know, like, I want to be okay, and I've got all this bullshit going on, so I just need to get past bullshit and bullshit and bullshit, and then maybe I can find a way to be. But then, assuming that you can do that, you then have to answer the question of, you know, what the fuck do you actually want to do with your life? What is your purpose for being here? And I don't have an answer for that at the moment. I suppose largely because I don't really think I'm going to be around that long. Right? And, like, you know, objectively, I've been looking at all these factors, and the answers that have come back have been, you're screwed. But now the equation seems to be changing just a little, and maybe I'm not as screwed as I thought, and so I have to consider giving weight to the question of what the fuck is the point of my life? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Why am I doing things? I mean, morbid curiosity about just how in the fuck this train wreck is gonna happen probably isn't enough in the long term. You know, and neither is lust enough in the long term, right? You know, I mean, that is a whole other thing of just like, if you are a fat autistic guy who likes beautiful submissive women, just no, just no, just no, just no, right? You cannot be a left-wing, politically active guy who is in favor of feminism and is also a fat autistic guy who is interested in beautiful submissive women. Like, just, I know probably that includes a lot of people who are, and a lot of people who are watching my videos, but it's just, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. In this day and age, it just doesn't, right? Like, I have no doubt that, like, you know, lesbians can talk all day and have it be societally acceptable, their passions for beautiful submissive women. I have no doubt that, like, that all of these, you know, rich, you know, gym goers who've got, you know, ripped muscly abs, who are super extroverted and socially aware, like, they can keep going for their passions for beautiful, submissive women. Fat, autistic, left-wing feminist guys cannot. Just doesn't work. Just doesn't. It just doesn't. You just pathetic. I'm just pathetic, right? I'm just very much aware that it's like my brain is gaining a lot of enjoyment from this, but at the same time there is a different part of my brain just sort of standing in the corner, you know, quietly tapping its foot and sort of, you know, looking away awkwardly like, oh, you're doing that again, are you? Yes, very mature. So yeah, I need a purpose, and I suppose I love to learn, so I may as well put that stuff out there. I mean, it'll probably do for a short-term purpose or medium-term purpose, although it does bring with it the associated problem that I have a Nazi hate cult and a family riddled with anxiety. So having a Nazi hate cult and actually regularly making videos again is maybe not such a good idea. These things, they are not easy. They are not easy at all. But I'm trying. God damn it, I am fucking trying. Also, not easy being a regulated capitalist. Because, like, I'm interested in futurism, right? I'm interested in all this new technology that is happening, right? And you know, I'm fully aware this could just be like my own bias. Like, we don't need filter bubbles. We're people. We have that in and of ourselves, right? You know, I decided sometime, you know, around college that I was going to make the number 7 important in my fiction. And I decided to just look out for it for fun. Like, it's my special number now. And now I see it everywhere. Right? I literally did that to myself as an experiment of this habit of humans to see things they notice everywhere. And similarly, right, my favorite car, right, my favorite car that I decided, like, back before I decided to build a Dalek, I was interested in Top Gear. Like, I watched nothing but Top Gear, and I thought Jeremy Clarkson was awesome. And yeah, may have been reasons I then went on to become an anti-feminist. Not necessarily the best influence, that, but you know, I was very interested in cars at one stage, and I decided that I would pick out my dream fancy car, and that car was the Volvo XC90 DSAWD, because I figured that was a kind of car that you could basically turn into a sort of go-anywhere battle star, right? Like, you know, that you could convert this to running on chip fat, that you could have like solar panels on the roof, that you could, you know, you could have a bed in it at a push. You can have your laptop set up there with, you know, charging it from, you know, your chip fat run car. Like, I had all this, you know, law set up about how this car was important to me back when I gave a shit about cars. And still now I'm like, oh my god, these XC90s, they're everywhere. I'm seeing my favorite car everywhere. And of course that's because that exact make and model of car is the only car that is still embedded on my mind. Right? Like, every other kind of car all the other car knowledge sort of vaguely faded away into the background in the midst of time. It's just like, fucking so on. But that specific make of model and car, the Volvo XC90 DSAWD, that is indelibly printed on my mind. And so I see it everywhere. And I'm like, oh my god. So you know, I'm kind of hoping to fuck that like everything's gonna be fine, and I'm just literally like seeing the same effect with like the number 7 and the Volvo XC90 DSAWD as I am seeing with technological unemployment's sake, you know. But I'm not entirely certain that's the case. Like I am looking into the world of like, you know, of left-wing people or right-wing people. Tell me what you think about unemployment. And it's like the left wing has solutions, but their solutions are laughably naive. Like, you know, I mean, admittedly, I was talking to an anarcho-communist, and you know, I'm a regulated capitalist, so bit of an ideological gap there. But you know, they were explaining to me how, you know, capitalism is all evil because all these people are greedy. So the way that communism's gonna be better is we're gonna have all these people in unelected positions of power. Because they're gonna give workers a lot of power through, you know, workers' unions and workers' rights and what have you. Except with technological unemployment, you're going to get fewer and fewer and fewer workers. So congratulations, you've just created a new elite. Woohoo for communism. It succeeds gloriously once again. Meanwhile, the right-wing people, when you question them about post-scarcity, they stick their fingers in their ears and go, la 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 la, jobs, always be jobs, always be jobs, 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 always be jobs, there will always be jobs, what are you talking about, there's going to be no unemployment, there's always going to be jobs, and it's just like, is everybody insane? It seems like the people who actually like are seeing the evidence before them and accept it are the people who are like, yes, and at some point the robots will take over and everything will be awesome, or we're all going to die, one or the other. And it's like, we need a political approach to what the fuck happens between capitalism dying, which is gonna happen, and then, you know, glorious singularity, robots take over and everything is hunky-dory, right? Like, we need to start mapping out politically what the fuck happens between, you know, mass unemployment due to technological unemployment and the hollowing out of the economy, and, you know, robots taking over, everything's okay, right? We need some thought about this, because I suppose it feels the same way like I'm feeling about my life, in the sense that it's like I've been driving along this road for so long and I've been seeing so far ahead of me, and now it feels like we're just heading for the edge of a cliff and before us is complete black abyss. And the car isn't stopping, but nobody has any fucking clue about where we're going, why we're going, or anything. They're just too busy bickering, going, no, 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 you're. It's just, guys, abyss right ahead of us. We should probably do something about that. And the communists and the right-wing people are just kind of stubbornly screaming at each other, going, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, no, wrong. It's just... You know what I've just thought of? You know how my videos are taken out of context by Nazis who hate me? Did you know that autism was originally diagnosed as childhood schizophrenia? Because I'm just thinking of the time when some Nazi who dislikes my videos, and before you say, oh, I'm lowering the value of this stuff, no, there are genuinely Nazis who hate my stuff. Genuinely people who identify as National Socialist and want to exterminate anyone who isn't a white Aryan person, despite the fact that they're probably not white or Aryan in any way, shape or form. But, you know, I'm just imagining some sort of Nazi taking that clip out of context of me going, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and going, look at him, look how he's so insane and schizophrenic. Sorry. I've just got like a meta-level gag about my own trolling with relevance to fucking autism and its early diagnosis history with regards to being known as childhood schizophrenia. Sometimes my obscure knowledge collides awkwardly with humour. But yeah, as a regulated capitalist, things are kind of difficult at the moment because I'm like, somebody give me a fucking answer, and it's like the communists are saying, oh, capitalists, fuck off. Workers, they'll sort everything out. And the capitalists will go, oh, no, you left-wing socialist communists, fuck off. Because you see, our job creators will always keep creating jobs, despite the fact that it isn't in their financial interest to. It's like I have talked to good people who, well, right-wing people, but good people, about this stuff, and they just stubbornly go, well, my job's fine. I mean, your job probably isn't fine, but even if it is fine, that's beside the point, right? Like, yes, congratulations, your job is one of the very few jobs that cannot ever be automated away. Clap, clap, clap. Have a participation trophy, right? Here's the thing. The vast majority of people who work at the moment do not have that kind of job. The vast majority of people who work in the global economy work in jobs that can already be automated away. Right? What the fuck happens to your grand capitalist economy then? What the fuck happens to society then when most of the jobs are automated away? How do you manage to do your job when the vast majority of the economy is in the shit? Right? But see, this job will never be automated away, so capitalism is fine. Yes, because the vast swathes of all the other jobs that very definitely can be automated away, going away totally won't affect the monetary capacity to pay for you to do that fucking job. Yeah. But I'm starting to maybe see my chance of things. Anyway, I'm gonna go do things. See ya. Thank you for watching my main channel. Please remember to leave a like, favourite and comment. Shout out to the dislike club. Subscribe if you like what you saw, and share if you know someone who might be interested in the contents of this video. If you would like to help ensure more videos get made, there are a few options available to you. You can whitelist this channel in your adblock software to ensure what ad revenue you provide has a chance of making its way to me. If you sign up to make a regular monthly donation through my Patreon, then you will get to watch a selection of videos available exclusively to my Patreon supporters over at my Patreon page. One-off donations are payable through PayPal, or if that doesn't suit your sensibilities, you can gift items through Steam or Amazon via my public wish lists. Obviously, I don't expect anything, and the vast majority of my videos will remain free and ad-supported. All that remains is to say Trump should be impeached, the genocidal must be stopped, and institute universal basic income now.